Well, thank you once again for joining this afternoon. My name is Trey. I'm a librarian at Plano Public Library. And the goal for today's class, we're going to introduce reference solutions to you, and we're going to explore a little bit about that resource. And it's the library's premier database for market and job research. Reference solutions boast, actually on their page, they have more than what I have listed here. It's always growing in the amount of record data that they have, but they've got well over 65 million businesses listed.
Oh,
Over
Trey,
200.
can I pause you here?
Oh, sure.
Sorry, it's just still showing the startup program.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you. Sorry. I forgot to click over. Thank y'all. It's got well over 298 million consumers and has, it's applicable for helping with your research for entrepreneurs, small businesses, job seekers, and many more folks interested in looking at business and consumer data. The whole host of the reference solutions is available to you with your Plano Public Library card, and I'll be demoing. We'll kind of navigate in the wild, so to speak, some of the various aspects of the reference solutions throughout the class. If you wish to follow along, it does require a library card. You can access reference solutions from home, work, wherever outside of the library you may be, and have internet access. It does have it's a computer-based, and they have an app, but I'm only really going to talk about the PC-based, the computer-based resource. I have no way to show you what the app looks like. So our objectives for today, we're going to navigate, I'm going to help show y'all where to navigate to find reference solutions and get into reference solutions. And we'll explore how to access the resource using your library card, and as well as how to navigate and find some of the different features that's available to you. We'll explore some notable aspects of the reference solution interface. We'll explore how the U.S. businesses interface works and the U.S. consumers and lifestyles interface, as well as the U.S. jobs and internships interface, just to kind of demonstrate some of the functionality and some of the applications you might find. Also, we'll demonstrate possible uses for reference solutions, other features that they have that might fulfill some of your research needs. So I hope you're able to follow along using this powerful resource. I understand sometimes it's hard to kind of follow what I'm showing if you don't have multiple screens and looking the resource yourself. So don't stress yourself out too much on that. Just listen along. Usually we have these recorded class sessions available within, usually within a week. So you can, if you miss something or want to refresh on something, you can always go back and listen once that gets released, and the link will be out there. We'll post on the library's YouTube channel. The Plano Public Library has a YouTube channel, and we have various playlists of our online programs that you can find. You might find a host of other interesting things that you missed, and you can follow along in those courses at your leisure. Before we go through the reference solutions slide, there I mentioned the past program recordings. Before I go and jump into reference solutions itself, I just wanted to point out a few things. So, what is reference solutions? It's a pretty nondescript name, but it's a database that's available through many public libraries, including the Plano Public Library, and it provides information about businesses, consumers, and lifestyles and jobs, as I had mentioned earlier. Most of the information within reference solutions, particularly regarding current businesses, is verified by Data Axle, and it's indicated as such. It has a big green check mark with verified next to the information, and they go through cycles where this individual consumer data, or I'm sorry, the individual business data is, they've got a, I can't remember the cycle. They've got a pretty quick cycle where they go through and verify on a regular basis, and they'll actually include a little information blurb of when that was last updated, and they stay pretty current on the information that they have. Now, stuff like the individual consumer data is less likely to be accurate or up to date. The aggregate consumer data can provide valuable information about market trends, demands, and areas of concentration, and that can be useful. But just realize that the individual data is consumer data is not as it's I hate to say not as solid, but just consider that it's not really verified. I don't know what the cycle is on updating that information. Still valuable information, but just consider that. So for accessing reference solutions, to access, you'll need a remotely from home, you'll need a Plano public library card and your account PIN. That's typically the last four of the phone number that's on your account, and you'll need internet access. So if you're accessing reference solutions remotely, and let me swap over here and let me go into the wild, make sure I'm sharing the correct page here. Okay, that should be the libraries page. Is that correct? Okay,
yes, I am seeing the catalog.
Thank you. So this is one of several ways you can get to our online databases and reference solutions in particular, since that's what we're looking for. So if you happen to have the catalog, libraries catalog bookmarked, great. If you scroll down just a little bit on this right-hand side under online resources, you can find this link right here, research and learn databases right here on the right-hand column of items. That'll take you straight into our list of resources. And you can either click on over here on this left-hand column, jump to business and career, but it's not really necessary since it already appears right here to the right. And you can just click on that. You can always also remember, if you don't have the catalog bookmarked, you can always remember the city's website, plano.gov, clicking on the libraries tab, and also just scrolling down a little bit on the page to find the research and learn databases. But if we're in the business and career, we're going to scroll down the list. As you can see, we have a lot of different databases. Trying not to scroll too fast to make someone motion sick. Here we have the reference solutions. And I'll have to confess that this was a new note to me. We have this note here that when you're accessing the reference solutions, that there have been some problems with some versions of using the Chrome browser. So that can cause some issues. So just be advised, if you're having some access problems using the Google Chrome browser of different versions, maybe try a different internet browser. Go try something different and see if that corrects the issue. My caveat is I'm on a Chrome browser today, so knocking on wood, hopefully it will work for me, because that's all I have loaded on my device here. So we're just going to click on Access Now. And that's going to take you to Reference Solutions. I'm going to pause here for a moment because I see a couple of things in the chat. Is there any questions so far about accessing reference solutions?
No questions. I just posted a few of the links that we were going to.
Awesome. Awesome. That should take care of it for you. I can just click on the link and get that bookmarked. All right. So reference solutions. Now we've successfully found it, and we've gotten here. We're on the landing page. We just take a moment to explore the main page. It's not a lot of stuff on this page, and that's cool. I will point out that up here, if y'all can see that, you've got this link to webinars. The parent company Data Axle, I don't know how they pronounce that, has a webinars that you can register for, and they have a number of topics to guide people through how to use the information, either a job seeking, career search strategies, or what did I say up here? Researching and starting, managing a business. They've got an entrepreneurship webinar, a basic search essentials. So they have a few webinars that are posted, and they're free. So explore that at your leisure. I will also point out, let me get back over to here, although I could have linked off for where we were. You also have this learning center right next to that on that top ribbon. And this has got a lot of good information. So you got a lot of learning resources. So if you want a little bit more information on market and training material, training guides, you can click on that, and that's got a whole host of documentation. So they got some overviews of the databases if you want to go into some specifics. We're primarily going to talk about two of these, the U.S. Business Database and the Consumer Lifestyle, well, three of these, the job search. But you've got quite a few things, little flyers. I believe they come up as PDF. A few of them that I checked came up as PDF. Oops. I think that just opened up another tab. And let's see what else we have. Oh, and the training guides. And it's just some in-depth training guides, maybe not so useful as the webinars and the other resources had shown. Let me clear off some of these tabs because that's a lot of stuff open. Okay. Since I closed out a bunch of stuff, are we still seeing the main landing page for reference solutions, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. All right. So most of the information within the reference solutions, particularly regarding the current businesses, like I had mentioned, is verified by Data Axle. And we'll show you when we get into one of the sample searches, I'll show you the little marking that they put on records that have been, that are currently verified. So we're going to explore this main interface. Within the main screen here, we have this available databases, and it shows the 10 different databases. Let me scroll up where you can see them. It shows the 10 different databases that we have access to. 4 of them are related to the US and Canadian businesses, US healthcare listings, and US and Canadian white pages. And the US consumers and lifestyle database, US job and internship listings, and US new movers and homeowners. Gives you a whole bunch of different slice of data across the business and consumer spectrum. Now, the options available with each database vary somewhat, but they can be grouped into really 3 main categories. Finding a business, finding a consumer or market, and finding a job. And the search options within each group are basically consistent. They've got a fairly consistent search page. When we get to that, I'll show you in a moment. And it's pretty consistent across. There'll be some variations depending on what set of data we're looking at. I will point out, and this was new, I will point out down here towards the bottom is this new personal account. So library patrons will be able to sign up for a personal account with Reference Solutions. So you can create your free account and register. If you have it, you can log in. But as they say here, that allows you to create custom user profiles and save your searches. So if you're doing research over a period of time, you can save if something search that parameters that you've crafted yields the best results, you can save those without having to rebuild them each time you visit with this new personal account. And then the search criteria for future list building, and a little, as they say, a little bit, so much more. That's a relatively new feature. And I can't show you that because I don't have a personal account. But again, this is an introduction. We're going to be going into doing some US business searches and things in a moment. So same thing applies. I'm just not going to be able to save my searches and for the next time. And that's okay. So once you've either created an account or logged in, or you're just starting out straight here, that's fine. The Reference Solutions interface looks quite a bit different and divides it into databases, as we see, which I've already mentioned. And I'm repeating myself there. So we're going to look at the businesses, finding a business. So Reference Solutions is best known for its extensive data on businesses in the United States and Canada. And the information is gathered from many sources, and then it's verified by Reference Solutions in a process that includes phone verification. So they have a lot of different resources at their disposal where they can verify the business information that's provided. And they also have a large crew of actual live humans that will call the businesses and verify that the information is accurate and up to date. And the most business records within the database have been verified, and they're indicated, like I had said, with the green, I call it a green check, that it says here green V, but it looks more like a check mark, but it's, depending on your interpretation, a green check, green V for verified. We'll see that in a minute with our search example. Now, while the information in the business databases can generally be considered reliable, it's worth noting that sometimes information can be inaccurate or outdated. And additionally, not all businesses will appear in the database. So databases that are publicly traded, you're going to find readily using this database. If it's a privately held company, they do include quite a bit of privately owned companies that are not publicly traded, but realize that there's going to potentially be a lot of single proprietor individual companies that may not be found in the database. So that's kind of the caveat. And I will point out too, somebody might wonder, what's the difference between the US businesses and the US new businesses? The last time that I had spoken with one of the people from the company, they had it categorized really nice and convenient. The US businesses is businesses that are established businesses that are 5 years or older, basically. And the new businesses is businesses that are younger than 5 years. They've been in business, been established for less than 5 years. That, if I recall correctly, that's the general split. So that may factor into some of your searches. If you're looking for potential new businesses, that might be the database for you. The U.S. database is where you're going to find the more established businesses of longer than 5 years. So keep that in mind. So some of the other databases you'll see is the U.S. healthcare database. Where is that? That's over here in the middle of the right-hand column of the resources. And that differs a bit from others listed because their search options allow you to find specialists in many different areas of medicine. You won't be looking, we won't be specifically looking at this database. I just wanted to mention that it's there as an option for your research, and you might find it useful. By all means, just go play with it, explore, and see how it works. Learn by playing with it. That's a good way. So for this program, we're going to access the U.S. Businesses database. And before continuing, I do want to include a disclaimer that we will be viewing actual business information during this program, and that displaying this public information does not constitute an endorsement from the Plano Public Library for these businesses. It's just our random selection test model, test search. So the business search interface has two options, and let me go click on the search. Pretty basic interface for the quick search here, but you've got two options: quick search and advanced search. Quick search is a great option if you have a specific business in mind and you want to quickly access information about it. You can input the information such as the company name, the executive's first and last name, the location and the phone number, and of course the city or state, if you know that information. So as a demonstration, and apologies up front if I have gross typing motor skills today, because some days I just can't type worth a flip. So I'm going to go down here to Texas. So we're going to plug in as our example Kroger in Plano, Texas. And we're going to click on that View Results button. So this quick search, I can't talk either. This quick search allows us or shows us all the records that include the word Kroger that are listed under within Plano, Texas. And while it's kind of a long list, it's only 25 results, not too bad. It appears very long, but this particular search demonstrates also an interesting facet of reference solutions. And that is a company that has a multi-department within a business, many departments, and they often have entries in the database for each department. And you can sort out the search results by address too, if you can see more clearly that there are five Kroger locations in Plano. But if you look here, especially in the large corporations, in this right-hand column, you see under this corporate tree, you see this thing that looks kind of like a genealogy family tree. That's the company family tree. And so you can see that in this first listing under the Kroger for this Plano on Custer Road, you've got this blue arrow that points up. That tells you that there's more, that's a lower, not a lower level. It's a division within the company, and that there's more company levels above that in the organizational structure. And you can click on that green arrow, and that will show you what that one is connected to and what the parent company is, or the higher division within that company, and it'll show you the pertinent information for that. And in here, it's showing you Kroger CO. And if you were looking at that one particular in Cincinnati, you would see that it has a blue arrow pointing down, which means there's a division underneath it in the organizational structure, which opens up and shows you these. So it's kind of a useful tool for that. Now, if you do an advanced search, oh, and you've got other details. Sorry, I shouldn't. Oh, and then when I went back and opened up, when I went back under that, it now opens up 5,000 some odd results because it's opened up everything, not just Plano, Texas, which was our original search parameter. This goes back to everything that was under that Kroger CO parent company organization. But you can see, I want to see, go back to revise my search. Or just redo it because it blanked it out for me. You can see there's a lot of other information here across the top where you can look at some details, not tagged. Oh, I forgot to check them, sorry. You can click on some details of those specific ones, or if you just find the one that you're interested in, click on it, and then that opens up. It actually is a green V. Huh. I remembered it being a big check mark. I don't know why I remembered it being a big check. Oh, because I was thinking down here, big green check mark. So yes, this one's been verified. It'll provide you the address, phone numbers, toll-free numbers, the website, what county it's in. You'll scroll down a little bit within the record and it shows you links in with the Indeed job search site. And it'll show you the job listings for Kroger tied to that company. Well, that's pretty handy, isn't it? And if you scroll down, it's got the breakdown of the industry profile, the SIC codes or the NAICS codes. And I always have to write those down because I never remember them exactly. The NAICS is the North American Industry Classification System, and that's used by federal statistical agencies. And the SIC is the Standard Industrial Classification System, and that was created in 1937 by the U.S. government, and that's used by statistical analysis in the U.S. and some foreign countries that have adopted the standard. So that's what those mean. And this gives you the breakdown of what those codes are for that particular company's record we're looking at. And then you have a business profile. And you might have a photo or a map. It doesn't look, oh, there it is. You've got a map to see where it's located. Then you have some business demographics, how many employees at that location, square footage. You've got a lot of information, hours of operation, general manager. You might have some company news, so you can click on this link to see company information. Some business expenditures, you got a sales, business size history, and employee size. Whole host of information here. Nearby businesses, other businesses nearby, and then competitors. So you can see who may be a competitor for Kroger in that location. And then if you're curious, you can click on those and it'll take you to those records. So a lot of information in that you can drill down in just a quick search. I'm going to go back to a little too far out, do an advanced search here. So we're going to do the advanced search, and this is useful if you're not sure of a business name, or if you're looking for multiple matches, you're not really sure because you're casting a larger net. You're looking for a particular type of business, not a specific business by name. And there's a lot of filters that you can turn on or off to meet your needs, and they're all down here, left-hand column. You you've got a lot of stuff here. You can search company name, or if you're looking just at a class or type of business keyword, you can search and list in the SIC or NAICS codes or keyword or major industry groups. You can search by geographical boundaries. If you're looking within a radius of a certain address or radius of a certain by a zip code, metro area, or specifically city and state. You can do a map-based search. And if memory serves, the map-based search, you can actually draw your parameters. If you're looking for doing market research or business research within a geographic boundary, you can do your search and draw it on a map and say everything south of 121, but between Coit and Independence and north of Parker. And that'll present you with your parameters searches for businesses within that geographic area. It can be that precise. Or within a specific neighborhood, you've got neighborhoods. So it's pretty powerful search tool. It's pretty bewildering with the amount of things as I'm still scrolling. And of course, then you can exclude certain parameters as well in your search. So you've got a lot of stuff. So right off the top here in this record count, it's 16 million. I don't know how they know that because I haven't selected anything. Oh, maybe that is because it was automatically checking down here in the record type, the verified. It's got 16 million verified records. See if that's correct. Update the count. Anytime you do a selection, like I'm going to include unverified here. Okay, so that automatically, if it doesn't automatically update the count, you can click on this update count and that will change that number for you. Now, you definitely don't want to view 79 million records. So if you're going to be there for hours scrolling through stuff or days and days, I wouldn't view results on that. You want to keep narrowing down till you have a more manageable size to look at. Any questions with that so far?
I have not seen any questions so far.
Okay. So you've got really powerful search with the advanced search, and you can still do some of that with the quick search like you saw when we did that example and it opened up some options. You do have some additional filters here in the quick search, and you have a lot of the same kind of things that you'd find on the advanced search. All right. So, oh yes, that was one of the examples I was going to do. I'm just going to do a quick search here, and I'm going to do Mama's Pizza. I'm going to do additional filter here. I'm going to do county. Got to select state. And then the filter choices, because this lists all of the state's counties. So we could find it from the list, or if memory serves, we can type this in. Oop, see, told you, apologies for my typing ability tonight, or this afternoon rather. Now when you find it, you click on it from this list and it'll populate it over here in this block. That means it's added to your search parameters. Now you can update. It didn't automatically update. So we're going to update our count. Whew, that's still 52,000 some odd results. I think we can do keyword 2. And we're going to do pizza. See, can't type. Still can't type. All right, so you're doing a keyword search for SIC codes. So we're going to do this first one. By clicking on it in this box in the results, it adds it to, you've selected that. So I'm going to update the count again. So that brings the record count to 265. So that's a little better. Or I'm just going to cheat and I'm just going to put, I'm not going to go through all that. You can see it gets a little fiddly. It's still powerful, but it gets a little fiddly with that. I'm going to go back to my quick search. Just do the Mama's Pizza in Plano. And that gives us one result. Now, when you click on this, opens up the record. It's also a verified record. It has a pretty good bit of information. It also has a job posting for it. Now you get down here and see its SIC codes and its NAICS codes, some employee information, things of that nature. You'll notice the type of business. It's private. So this one happens to be a private company. It's not a publicly traded company. But yet, Reference Solutions still goes through and will verify these records. And let's see, it actually will show you it was last updated in August. So this record was last updated in August of 2022. So not too long ago, not bad. All right. It does have a link where you can load company news. Now, I did this and it didn't really present anything. Being a fairly small company, you might have more corporate news. Larger corporation, you might find information populated here. It gives you stuff from Wilmington, North Carolina. Not very helpful in this regard, so we just got to collapse that. All right. So, are there any questions with the business interface here?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. I would encourage any and everybody interested to just play with it. And of course, you can, if you happen to be here at the library, and ask us at the service desk, and you can go, okay, I'm stuck. How do we navigate this? And we can help you on that. It can be fiddly when you get into the advanced search, but it is still a very powerful resource and very deep database on information. So I'm going to jump over here and we're going to do finding a consumer. So in the US consumers and lifestyles, 275 million individuals here. So we're going to, oops. Yeah. So they, Reference Solution gathers consumer data from a lot of different resources and compiles it into this handy tool. And the consumer databases here are the US consumers and lifestyle, the US standard white pages, and the US new movers and homeowners, and the Canadian white pages. But we're just going to be focusing on the consumers and lifestyles. Look, can't talk. Consumers and lifestyles database. But just know that the other three are there and have similar search options and worth exploring as well. I do have a couple of disclaimers up front. First, we would like to echo the notice that appears on all consumer searches regarding telephone numbers, personal phone numbers, and other contact information within reference solutions should not be used for solicitation. Federal, state, and local laws may apply to your use of information within this database. So reference solution includes quite a bit of personal information of real people. So we'll not be looking at individual consumer records. If you would like assistance navigating the consumer interface, please contact the Plano Public Library and set up a book a librarian request. We can certainly walk you through the reference solutions, different aspects of the database. Additionally, we found that the information accuracy is questionable at best. Unlike the business interface, reference solutions does not contact individuals to verify their information and to verify that it's accurate. So the database contains only what is reported to them by other sources. And of course, a lot of those are public record, but caveat exists. As a result, individual consumer information is often outdated and otherwise inaccurate. But the true benefit of using the Find a Consumer, or in this case, the U.S. Consumers and Lifestyle Database, is the ability to view the aggregate data. The individual records may be outdated and incomplete or otherwise unusable, but viewing the data using the heat maps and the charts can help you get an understanding of the population trends for a particular area. And so we'll look at this. So like the Find a Business, the search interface offers two options, a quick search and the advanced search. Now, the quick search only allows you to search based on first name, last name, city, state. And you'll almost certainly have to use the advanced search to really get any kind of useful information. So within the advanced search interface, I'm going to click on this other tab. There are a number of options to help you view the groups, the consumers, based on their location and interest. And so we'll go through some of these. So we're going to go ahead and narrow our search to the DFW Metroplex. So we're going to select down here in this left-hand column under Geography, we're going to select Metro Area. So we're going to select State. So we're going to select Texas. We're going to select, oops, I passed it. Dallas-Fort Worth. And when I clicked on that, that populates it over here. So that's added it to our search. So we're going to update our count. So that drops it from that huge number count to a more manageable 5 million, almost 6 million. More manageable, right? So we're going to narrow it down a little more. So we're going to scroll down where I can see it. We're going to select the estimated home income. We're going to select, go down a little bit, and we're going to select this 500,000 plus. And again, selecting it, now this left-hand box populates your right-hand box, and that's added to your search. So everything that appears here is added to your search. You can always clear your selection and start over if you oopsed and clicked the wrong thing. And if memory serves, I think if you click on, so if you've already added a whole list of things, you're looking for this to that and that, but you decided you really don't want that, you can just click on it and it removes it from your list. You don't have to clear the whole thing and start over selecting items. I learned that the hard way years and years ago. So we're going to update the count. So now that drops it to 120,000. Still a little bit more manageable. But then we're going to identify and drill down on consumers. So we're going to select this lifestyles on this left-hand side, find the lifestyles. Scroll down a little bit more. We're going to open the list of all types of outdoor recreation. So we're going to do that plus sign next to that, and that opens up a whole host of options under outdoor recreation. And we're going to click on boating and sailing, camping and hiking, and general outdoor sports. So now we're going to update our count. So almost 40,000. So we've identified a much shorter list of consumers that fit our profile of who we're looking at. If we were doing market research for a luxury outdoor recreation store, this would be a good starting point, right? So let's now take a look at our heat map. And we're going to click the results. Oops. View results. Forgot I had to click view results, and that opens up our list of 40,000. But here's the heat map in these top tabs up here. We're going to look at the heat map, and it's applying all the criteria. So now we have this interesting map here, and it's a great example of how effective this tool can be with reference solutions. So the heat maps do run the risk of lining up, really filling up a population map. So like creating a heat map of people who just like pizza is going to be, look kind of like the population of a city. So that might not be useful. But you do have in this search, oops, got to remember, if you try to use your thing and move it around, it's going to tell you, hey, use your zoom in tools, and you can drag and drop, or not drag, but you can grab and move with your mouse. But now you can see the hot spots, the red spots of the heavy concentration of the population within an area. And if we zoom in close enough, and we lose some of the hot, right? All right, still zooming in. Now you've got some pinpoints of the areas that follow your criteria. So if you're looking for placing a store location, that's a little unwieldy. You can kind of get a good look at like, okay, you've got a good potential consumer pool within, X boundary, whatever boundaries you're looking to locate or considering locating, so that you could use that to start looking for commercial real estate or rental space, right? An additional tool that you may find useful under certain circumstances is the consumer snapshot feature, and that's within the consumer search interface. And let me get back out. Let's see. Oh, let's look at the summary here. Yeah, not useful. I just forgot what that was. I had to look. Squirrel moment. Oh, and you've got charts too. This might be useful. So you get a little summary chart of your search. So you can kind of see whatever you search within this almost 40,000 population, you have a breakdown of information, of additional information. So you may have in your search parameters, did that 500,000 plus. Now it has a little bit finer breakdown of that. because as I recall in that search parameter, it was like 500,000 plus. It couldn't say, I'm looking for median household incomes of $1 million. And this is where you could find that information. Any questions so far? Lost anybody or everybody's cool?
There's no questions in the chat.
Okay. Let's see. Oh. So I'm going to go back. New search. And we're going to do the geography. Under the geography menu, we're going to do we do city? That's kind of metro area. Yeah, let's do metro area again. No, we're going to go rogue. Hold on a minute. We're just going to do city and state. There we go. Oh, good grief. I thought that would be quicker than scrolling through the list of state and cities. Or not. All right. Big state, lots of cities, long list. All right. Now, 227,000. Okay. Now, all right, so we've got 227,000 in Plano. Now we're going to go down here, this consumer snapshot, also in this left-hand column of items, and we're going to select an age from the consumer snapshot menu. So we're going to do age. We're going to select under 25, 25 to 29, 30 to 34. We're going to update, and that gives us 56,000 results. So probably a good recommendation, like many searches that you start, is kind of start them with a limited number of fields, and go from there and limit and revise your search and drill down on the data, rather than going through and checking off 20 different things to start off. You might miss something, or you might think you had a parameter that you're really focused in on, turns out not to be correct, or you called it something different than you were thinking the database would have it listed in. So maybe start broad and then slowly narrowing it down to reduce your field, and just keep updating the count, and you'll show you how many records you've got returned. That might help initially until you settle upon your really perfect search parameters. But let's view the results here. And then what happened to it? Ah, there we go. Now we have a data summary.
All right, Trey, it looks like we do have a question.
Okay.
They asked, can we search on a product type like candles or paper plates?
Not per se, but you can search, well, yes and maybe, or yes or. Not a specific product, but you can search. Let me just bump back over here to the businesses and do the advanced. Oh, come on. There we go. When you're doing the SIC codes and you're searching for those, you can certainly find the manufacturers, the producers of those things. But are you talking about that aspect of it, or specific consumers of people that buy candles?
There's no specification in the question.
Okay, I'm just giving them a little time to, just drop that in the chat. That would be too convenient to just go, I want everybody with expendable income that will do this. Not quite that specific, and not where you can really dig down and drill into that. But let's take a look. I also will confess it's been a long time since I spent a lot of time in the U.S. Consumers and Lifestyles database, and they've made a lot of additions since the last time I really played with it in depth. No specific products, but you're going to look as far as question applied to this area. No specific products, but you know what categories use of said products, like our example with the outdoor recreation. You're going to know what, if you're looking at cooking stove, camping stoves, you're going to know, okay, I'm looking at somebody with camping and hiking, potentially general outdoor sports, maybe not looking to sell camping stoves to someone that's interested in gardening. I guess you could think of it in that parameters, but it's kind of broad spectrum, but not to specific categories, except for companies that manufacture them. You could look up by the SIC or NAICS codes fairly specifically, because those, oh man, those are huge list, encyclopedic list of breakdowns of subcategories of subcategories of subcategories. That's can be overwhelming. It's fascinating if you're a statistical nerd, but it could be overwhelming when you're I just need that information. So I hope that answered the question. Yes, sort of. Yes, and or create an approach from a different angle. Okay, real quick. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say there weren't any more, so I would assume yes.
Okay. Good question, though. And real quick, I'm going to jump over here to the U.S. jobs and internships. This tool is great for allowing job seekers to find jobs and internships, make the most of reference solutions. It's really handy. It uses some of the same overlay of search, a little bit different on the advanced search, but it still has some familiarity with the overlay of reference solutions searches, but it links in with the Indeed search engine job listings. So conducting a basic search within U.S. jobs and internships database is just simply a matter of providing some basic info, like your job title, keyword, or company name. Or you can do an exact phrase, but I would, again, it's kind of the same recommendations applies. Start broad and then narrow down from there. Location, looking for a specific location for a job. So in this case, we're going to do teacher, and we're going to say Texas. Oops. Texas, all caps on. Dadgummit. we say within, it was defaulted to 25 miles. You could say, I'm looking for a job within 10 miles of my house, 25, 50. We're going to say 15. Jobs posted within the last 7 days. You do have drop down on that. Since yesterday, if you're looking at really current stuff, the default was 7. We'll leave it at 7. Oh, and we do want to select full-time. You could put a salary estimate in here. I'm going to leave it blank just to see what it says. And we're going to review results here. So that came up with 724 results for the keyword teacher. So could be interesting and very helpful. Before we leave this page, though, I'll also mention that there are additional job resources at the bottom of the advanced page. Let's go back, because I apparently don't know how to start without starting over completely. So you've got some more resources here. Explore career and college options. It's got some resources here. Starting your career, general job help, interview tips, resume writing help, a lot of resources, education and training. So if you're looking at internships and student info, getting into a career path or continuing education, you're looking at continuing within your career path or changing, maybe find some resources here and some other information. So just want to point that out. They've got some more information than they used to offer. They keep adding stuff all the time that's helpful. So yeah, the true beauty of using the reference solutions is really the job search interface. That's really nice. Any of the names that come up of our search, I wonder if I can back up to where, yeah, I didn't lose it. So any of these, what's nice here is that you should be able, I say should, you can click on, that'll take you in an Indeed to the job post and the description and everything, and where you can go on and apply. Or you can explore clicking on the ISD or the company, and that pulls up information about the ISD and the company, and you can maybe see some of the other job postings. In this case, it was Prosper ISD. And you can see a little information, more information about that they have listed there. And you can note here, it is an unverified record. So this record has not been verified. So it kind of lays out some information in the same fashion, similar to how your business searches were conducted. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. Did anybody have any questions?
I did not see any more.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate y'all attending today. Hope y'all found that helpful. And if you have any questions, you can drop me. My email is right there on the screen. Hopefully you're seeing the question screen.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, but I didn't do it big. There we go. Have any questions, think of it after the fact, which I always do. I think of something hours later, the next day, feel free, drop me an email. I'll be happy to answer your question. And thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate you attending.